And we are back with the conclusion of tonight's edition of Infowars Nightly News, Monday the 14th, 2013. Don Salazar, one of our crack researchers and writers, has been working on the story since yesterday when Cody Wilson, inventor and technology expert, showed him the video that he just posted yesterday. Don's been working on it. And within 1 hour of our report going up on Infowars.com, Forbes and a bunch of other mainstream newspapers, magazines, Wired, you name it, had all basically rewritten our story and put it up. And I'm not even mad about that. I understand that we have to be the leaders and they have to be the followers. It's just that this is happening all right here in Austin, Texas. You can see, what is that, like an M4 variant you've got there on screen, and you've got kind of an M16 variant right here. Breaking. Printable AR-30 round magazines now available for download. Seriously, that's the headline. And just reading from this, what just a few months ago was dismissed as a pipe dream or wishful thinking has today become a reality that will no doubt take the gun debate, not just nationally, but worldwide, to a whole new level. Infowars.com has been reporting on this 3D printing innovator's amazing work over the last few months. As Infowars breaks the story online, we wonder if the dinosaur press will realize the incredible significance of this. The technology and the technological development will circumvent unconstitutional magazine bans and could end the huge shortages we're seeing. The future is now. I actually wrote that part. Don wrote the rest of the article. But the point is, I saw his article. Let me just add this one little point here. That's kind of like, my name's not on it, but I'm fluttering around here always like a gadfly. And the video is up on your YouTube site. Very exciting, Cody. You've been talking to us ever since you started a while back, putting out a printable gun design. The ATF came. Tell us about that later. But first off, tell us about how big a deal this is, because obviously they're trying to talk about confiscating magazines now. Well, this ends that. And this could end the shortage. What gave you the idea with the whole 3D printer revolution to go with guns? And thanks for joining us.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. Oh, we hypothesized a gun control future, right? Even when they weren't coming for us.
You said that 3 or 4 months ago.
That's right. Yeah, we saw, you know, you can't anticipate the tendency of this state. This state is a totalizing state. It wants to observe everything. It wants to know everything. It wants to write everything in the tables of power. So even if they're not going for the guns when we proposed this project, we knew one day they would. How convenient then that Sandy Hook would happen and they could dust off their playbook from the, ever since the 50s and 60s. They want to take military pattern rifles away. We know that. So when we saw Feinstein suggesting her new bill, we thought magazines easy. So I took 3 people off of lowers and put them onto magazines. In a weekend, we worked out all the bugs, and the video that you see is the result of 12 hours worth of note-taking and modifications.
Amazing, and you made that mag. Show us that.
Yeah, so this is an SLA printed 30-round magazine. The only thing that's not printed is the mainspring. The follower's printed, the floor plate's printed. Everything's based off of standard measurements that we took from other mags compared to other mags. I ran 90 rounds through this, almost 90 rounds through this, almost on full auto the whole time. Only a little bit of deformation. And then,
yeah, I'm jealous. That's a nice rifle.
Hell, it was nice. It's not mine. It's a friend of mine. But yeah, this is a proof of concept. And a symbol, I think, a really powerful symbol that, yeah, they can try to go back to '94 and ban these things, but there's new methods of manufacturing, and the internet will preserve that file forever. Forever.
There's no putting the genie back in the bottle.
It's out, and it will always get better, and more complex materials will be introduced, and better printers will be here. They've walked back into a wall, and they didn't know it.
You can see the printer, how it laid it down. Tell us how it works.
Yeah, you can see this particular, there's different...
This is bigger than the Gutenberg press.
Oh, come on. Who knows, right? Like,
well, no, this whole printing system.
I'm not saying this is the next big thing, but I know it's the next big thing for this, right? If I want to achieve a political end. So this is printed with a laser in a resin bed, and just layer by layer, man. It actually prints down. A lot of people see these things print up, but you can see the striations of how it was made.
No, I can see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get that caught on camera, but you can see the layer. Here may be a document camera right here. You can see the lines. I don't know. There you go. You can see it right there.
Yeah. And so it's not the most economical thing. But again, in a world where you can only pay black market prices for magazines, this is an option. It's an alternative.
But I mean, this is a major game changer. I mean, that's it.
I hope so. I think it's a real symbol of things to come. I think it's easier for people to grasp too than the lowers or the printable pistol. I mean, they can't have this now.
Now, you were telling me the New York Times days ago talked to you, never ran the story.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked the internet in a while, but
a few hours. Well, it hadn't been up since I last checked. The point is, well, tell me what you told me off air.
I think the New York Times was interested in running a piece for today on their blog, their tech blog. They're kind of cataloging all the things happening in the gun debate right now. But it seems that they wanted to omit this, or perhaps they just dropped the ball, and you guys are the first people to run it.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter if they don't report because the real media is there.
They kind of set what the narrative is. So I'm not saying it's hostile or pernicious. I can't know, but we were omitted from the conversation, and I think this is pretty significant. You know, I think this is something that needs to be part of the conversation.
No, you're right. That document cam can't pick it up. Can we aim one of these other higher def cameras on this? I mean, I want people to see this because you can see how it was printed. If you see the striations there, you can see the layers of the printing there. Yeah, it's just not in focus.
Hold it still. There we go. Yeah, do back and forth. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can't really pick it up. Your eyes can see it. You can just see, it's amazing.
You can see it on that.
And is part of the lower part of that rifle printed as well?
Yeah, the whole lower receiver is printed, and in the eyes of the ATF, that is the firearm, you know, for regulating commerce. So this could have been assembled. I could have printed the lower, then order the pieces from online and assembled, you know, an unseen gun. Basically,
you can see the levels of the printing right there.
Yeah, you can. You can. Is there a little propaganda on this? Well, we said defense distributed on one side, but yeah. So you know, it's not impossible to then, you know, you just print an extra hole in the receiver, and now you have a fully auto receiver you've printed. You know, if you have the right autos here. I mean,
and they right after we'd interviewed you, you actually got a visit, didn't you?
Yeah, back in, what, October when we did that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the AT, I went to visit them, and that was my mistake. I shouldn't have done that.
They called you in.
But they said they were already looking for me. So, well, how convenient that you're here, sir. You know, and it was a friendly conversation, but it was pretty tense at first because I had been criminally referred to them by someone. You know, they were looking for me. They would have found me. So I found them. We came to some kind of understanding about who we were to each other, you know, and I think they decided I wasn't breaking the law. But
they're the ones breaking the law, shipping guns into Mexico.
Right. DOJ, right? What to say? You know, no one out here has a big opinion of the ATF, and I'm just trying to stay on the right side of their opinion, you know.
So where are they now on Printable, lower receivers, magazines, things like that?
Their official line is that the laws already regulate them. There's already adequate law to regulate this. So if I was to make this and sell it to you, I'd be a manufacturer, unlicensed, it's already illegal. Same thing with, well, really any other component. If I was to print a whole printable gun, there's already laws in the books. It's illegal, of course, right? So they think they have it covered. But in many fundamental ways, they don't, you know, because now anyone can email this to each other. You know what I'm saying? I have friends in Europe, right? They could download this file. They find a mainspring, or maybe I could ship them a mainspring in, you know, in the mail. Now they could have a magazine where before they really never could.
And this is only one of the first generations of these 3D printers. They're coming out with printers that actually do the metal.
In fact, this is I used an old 3D printer to do this. I used one from like the 90s to do this. There are better ways of doing this. I'm just limited with my resources. I know there are better people out there with more skill than me, with access to better capital than me, who can take this all the way, you know? Just trying to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, look, Wired's covering it. Yeah, that's from October when they came and seized it.
Yeah. You know, Wired's been pretty diligent about keeping up with us. I don't think they understood the significance of the magazine, though, but you guys did, because it's on the table. You know, they want it. They want to take it.
And I've got video of you shooting. You can see the powder burns on this. I mean, I've got video of you using this, and it worked great, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you buy mags, they don't work too good.
We made sure it was going to work before we put it on video.
This is just an incredible force for liberty right here.
I'm hoping so, even if it's just symbolic, you know. I think people should be confident that they have fundamental liberties and they should protect their individual sovereignty. And if I'm just one guy and can do something like this, I wish other people would help us or at least try to preserve their liberty.
Tell us about the organization that you're kind of the unofficial spokesman of and what your goals are, what you're doing, the different websites.
Yeah, defensedistributed.com, defcad.org is where you can find our files. There's already over 30 files we've got. You can download all at one time if you want or piecemeal. Please download them, protect them, keep them in case they bring us down. We accept donations. We're just a nonprofit corporation in Texas, just doing what we can on a budget.
Well, it's truly revolutionary against the corporate Borg.
Oh,
I mean, this is what they fear.
Yeah.
It's like the Reddit founder went to the MIT site that had a bunch of files locked up of just research papers that taxpayers paid for. He put them out, and they were going to put him in jail for 35 years. Now he's been Arkansas-ed.
That's a real tragedy. I saw that, yeah. And it's the same thing. He's an information anarchist. He believes that information should be free. And this is information generated in universities, right? Paid for by other people, you know? And it's insane that he would go to jail for 30 years, whereas like a common criminal, right, who would like kill someone might get 5, 10, you know? Their interest, they show you their interest. They want to stop that activity at all costs. And I think they're interested in stopping activity like this as well. They call it disruptive technology. That's right. Disruptive to what? You know?
To their tyranny.
Exactly, yeah. Disruptive to a state interest, or perhaps like a corporatist interest.
Well, see, I've never called myself an anarchist in most ways because I know how humans operate in groups. I want the very small, limited government, kind of a Jeffersonian view. But when it comes to information, why not have anarchy? Because you already have the very worst people running things anyways, and they don't want other people to have the technology. They always claim they want to suppress technology for safety. It's really the opposite.
That's right.
I say open Pandora's box all the way. Let's go.
That's right. I have essays from 1994 where this woman at an OECD conference was saying, oh, we should never let the public have PGP, you know, the email encryption.
Sure.
Because, well, terrorists and national security and ZOMG terrorism, right?
And meanwhile, we know who's really behind the terrorism.
Right, of course. And so we know it was totally banal, totally safe, and has improved our lives, but it's always in their interest to protect themselves, you know, before us. So this is something that no one wants to happen.
Cody Wilson, tell us about yourself, how you got into all this.
Yeah, well, this was just a political project. So you reach a point, especially post-Obama, post-2008, you're so disgusted with process. You're like, political process is just pageant, is just...
It's a fraud.
Right? Yeah, Biden and his recommendations, we all know what he's going to say. You know, it's just simulated agonism.
It's everything they've said before.
Of course, it's the same stuff. So I don't believe in voting, really. I don't believe in Romney versus Obama. And to portray them as the two titans of separate ideologies is a lie. They represent the same interest.
They're almost mirror images.
They're the very same person. So I think, well, let's introduce real ideology again. Let's introduce real politics. This means something. This is a step toward radical equality.
This means forget your factories, forget your centralized system. I'll design whatever I want or redesign it and build it right here. This is real innovation. I mean, this right here is the same thing as free energy.
I hope so.
I mean, when you get down to it, this idea is the singularity.
Well, I love in our video we said, I didn't realize it until after we said it, but download a mag today. You know what I'm saying? Download what you want. Have it. Make it. No, that's our headline. AR-30 magazines available now for download. Isn't that crazy? You know, I don't think I was even thinking that way 6 months ago, but now this is the world we live in now.
It's just amazing that the power structure is run by a bunch of old dinosaurs. They've got a lot of high-tech scientists working for them. They even projected most of what our civilization is, but they've still got old inbred brains. They're not even going to think of the ways we're going to use all this stuff. It's too late. You know, they shouldn't have never let the internet happen. You know, it's too late, because it is an anarchy, and it will always preserve information and liberate information. It's a tool and an implement of liberation. And despite what your opinion of the Arab Spring is, it facilitated a lot of that activity. Well, they knew a revolution was coming. They can predict the future with the internet and mass movement, so they try to trigger it to control it. Oh, I see, right, to get the right, you know... But they won't even be able to control that. I agree with you, though. It's like these boomers that can't give up power, and they must insulate themselves ever and ever and ever and kind of permanently ensconce themselves in some political class. We don't need them. And we're moving toward crypto commerce. This is facilitated by the internet. We're moving toward things like this. I mean, decentralism, federalism. We'll simply just expand free spheres of action until they have no power. Take the boomers. They claim they were going to liberate everybody. They are in a cult of worshiping how smart they are. I've noticed all they do is talk about how smart they are and how we're all idiots, and they're not. And look, I don't even think of myself as smart. These people are so critically dumb that they think a tyranny is going to empower them when it's only going to destroy the foundation of liberty that gave them all the wealth they have to begin with. They're the spoiled children of history, to borrow from someone else, and their time's over. You know, it's simply a matter of how long can they cling, reactionary style, right, to the vestiges of power that were built up in the 20th century. Cody Wilson, we're going to aim that camera at you right now. For the last 5 minutes, give you the floor instead of me asking questions. 5 minutes? What do you want to impart to the millions of people that one way or another will end up seeing this out there in cyberspace while we still have a so-called free open web? What do you want to say to them? That's tough. The free internet is important. Don't let anyone ever get control of it. The internet is the future. It is an implement of liberation, a tool of freedom. This is only a symbol of what's to come. If capital is to improve, if materials are to improve, we can have more of what we want. You can be independent. You should
harvest and cultivate your independence and embrace liberty. Don't be fearful. Don't let these people take things away from you. There's a liberty interest in everything. There's no good reason to ever give up your civil liberties. If people were half as intensely devoted to preserving civil liberties as we were, we would not have a problem. What can I say?
Well, that was short and sweet, but it's true. And I want to have you back. I mean, Don's always talking about what a great guy you are, and I haven't talked to you in person since you got up here. You're really a neat guy because I resonate with your spirit. I can feel what you're saying, not just intellectually see it. What we stand for and not backing down to evil, that's the great possession.
Yeah.
And having control of our own minds, our own souls, that is paramount liberty. Everything else flows from that. And the system knows that. Their greatest sin is they actually want to dumb people down.
I think so.
You should want to turn people loose.
Strategy.
I mean, where the hell did this come from?
I think resistance is the only human activity that's worth doing right now. That we have a mass culture and a political culture which is just intent on plugging you in, finding your protected class or status of victimization, and then explaining you away forever. Just, oh, don't think about it, we got you. You know, but you're a human actor. The only thing worth doing right now is basically executing strategies of principled anarchy in this overwhelming post 9/11 surveillance state. They want everything. They want to know everything. They want to execute all private spheres of action. We must preserve those. We must create captured garrisons. And that's what I wanted. This is a captured garrison, man. Yeah, I feel.
Once somebody sees this, though, even one edge of it, there's no going back.
Oh, it's too late. It's already too late. Hundreds of people download our files every hour. In fact, in the past 3 days, I think we had like 20,000 downloads of different files. Overwhelmingly, the 10-round magazine that we already had up, it's already out. You know?
And no one knows what active resistance will break the back of the tyrant. All of us just piling on with more ideas, more angles they can't calculate. That's something they can't stop.
I think they'd love an armed resistance, right? A traditional resistance. But it's like you said, it's an overbidding. It's expanding freedom into so many places that they simply can't up the stakes any further. It's, if you accept the idea of how the United States beat the Soviet Union, it's almost the same way. You just expand freedom so much, radical freedom so much, unobserved.
That they can't compete.
That they literally have to collapse as a response.
They want to use, as Lenin talked about, and before him, Marx and others, because they were funded by the globalists, you know, the proto-globalists, the banksters, the robber barons, they know they're going to have all this easy manufacturing and bauble, so they make that the new class. You've got the bauble. No, I want the real freedom. You can keep your bauble. And so everything they give us is a Trojan horse of control. It doesn't matter. We'll just work around all of that. And so this 3D printer and all these systems, that is the real level of really empowering people. And that's why they're trying to get all the resources for themselves. But if humanity just has faith and realizes we're never going to change this overnight, it's, like I said, little things. Big things have small beginnings.
I think so. This is a gradualism, right? I'm willing to work on this every day. You know, as long as there's money. And this can always get better, always will get better.
What's coming next?
AK magazines, of course. AKs, you know.
Kalashnikov, the most manufacturers.
I'm sure the AK people feel left out. So Bulgarian 74, we're basing designs off 74 and 47 round, or 47 model magazines. So that's next. And then we've got Gen 4 of our receiver that we're going to do. And if we could ever become manufacturers, if we ever weren't going to be put in prison for making plastic pistols, that's what we want to do next too. And that's the real goal of the project. One day where you print out a completely usable gun.
Well, what happens when the codes to that get released?
Oh man, you know, it's out there, and we've already thought about how to do it, WikiLeaks style, man. So yeah, we've got strategies. It's just accomplish it, test it, prove it, let it go.
Well, Cody, we got to have you back on the main radio show. I'm impressed with the work you're doing and just the idea of it, but the fact that it's already working so early, this could bring them down. And it's been exciting having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, honestly.
Thank you, my friend. Stay right there. I want to say bye to you at the end of the show. Great job with the crew. Amazing job as usual. Great job to John Bound getting Obama lady down here. That was really amazing to see her deprogrammed because she watches mainstream TV. She'd never seen Obama 4 years ago. She's like, I remember him saying that. What, he lied? See, they count on you being unconscious, not remembering. But you've got the brain to do it. You've got the power. And I believe in empowering humanity instead of dumbing humanity down. Call me a radical. Call me an extremist. I'm self-confident enough to want you to be a winner because I want to be around other winners. I don't want to be around a bunch of losers. I want you to be wealthy. I want you to be wise. I want you to be successful. I want your great-grandchildren to live to be 1,000 years old. I want to go to the stars. They call that romanticism. I call that basic human prime directive. And the fact that the establishment has tried to turn our survival instincts against ourselves and told us we're crap, that is actually causing a flipping of the script against the enemy, because our species is so old and so strong and has been through so much. Every one of our ancestors went through living hell to get us to this point. We are not weak. We are not crap, despite all their poison, all their propaganda, all their cultural death. We are strong. I don't care what color you are or where you're from. We're all human beings. We've all got the same red blood. And we are going to defeat these people. If you want it and you know it, we can't let our world be run by psychopaths. We can't turn our planet over to a bunch of inbred trash. They're the trash. That's why they tell us we're trash all day. Normal people don't want to dominate others. Normal people want to just live and be good folks. But you're under attack, and it's time to start attacking back in 1,000 different ways every day. That's it for this edition. Lord willing, back tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central, prisonplanet.tv. Until then, go with God.